temporary shelter in Mississippi. There, the saved pets got medical and psychological help. Animal Rescue Society helped the poor creatures to reunite with their owners. A 2-week-old southern white rhino calf was rescued by the wildlife and veterinary teams from the Ol Payeta Conservancy in Kenya. This poor baby was abandoned by his mother. The calf had a congenital disease, which was supposed to make his mom leave him. It's a typical thing in the animal world. In such occasions, babies almost have no chance to live a happy life. But this guy was luckily found by people. Raising him was difficult, with bottle feeding 8 times a day, massage, and watching him sleep. A wild dog had his head stuck in a plastic jar and could barely breathe. The poor thing had been found by a woman who came to help with the rescuers from Animal Aid India. The dog was desperately trying to get rid of its trap and behaved extremely aggressive. The 2 men acted very quickly. One of them held the animal in his hands, another was cutting the jar. At last, they managed to take off the plastic thing from the dog's face. The scared pup ran away immediately. Kildare Animal Foundation got a call from some concerned members of the public. There was a fox with broken hind legs found in a public park in Blackrock, County Dublin. It was in real danger from local dogs because it couldn't escape. The rescuer acted very quickly, so he caught the poor thing and put it into the carrier. During this operation, the fox even bit the man. He brought it into the clinic, where the wild creature got all the necessary care. An abandoned German Shepherd was trapped on the banks of the Los Angeles River. The rescuers from Hope for Paw Project with Bill Foundation rushed to help the poor animal. There was no access to the river for miles, and the people had no special equipment to get to the dog. At last, the rescuers found a hole in the gate and put down the ladder through it. There was a 20-foot drop, and the rescuer didn't have any safety gear, so it was a real challenge. It took some time while the doggy felt comfortable near the man. At first, he was too scared to let the men put the leash on him. The rescuer fed the boy, stroked the dog, and closed his eyes with his hands, and only then the leash was put on. Then the dog came into the cage, which was taken upwards. The rescuer's going up was no less dangerous, but it was a happy ending. The SeaWorld rescue crew freed a baby whale from shark nets. The little guy was rather nervous, and coming closer to him was a brave action. The team spent some time trying to approach the animal. At last, with the help of a hook, they caught the net and released the poor baby. The turtle got the fishing hook inside his mouth in the pond. A family found it in the garden and were trying to help. But the turtle didn't understand that people were trying to do it good and hid in its shell. The man pulled and pushed the hook back and forth, but could not take it out, and it took a rather long time. At last, he did it, and the unlucky turtle was free. Fishing equipment causes a lot of trouble for turtles, both in lakes and in the sea. Here was one more turtle, but now it was a loggerhead sea turtle that was drowning helplessly in the water. The surfer from Florida approached the animal and found out it was tangled in nets. As the surfer was trying to save the creature with his bare hands, it took some time to do this task. At last, the animal was free and could swim. Taal volcano eruption was the great tragedy both for people and animals. This rescue team set off for Taal Volcano Island because they knew there were still a lot of dogs in that place. They brought dogs a lot of food. Though they looked rather healthy, they were very hungry and extremely depressed. The rescuers found out that the owners of some creatures hadn't returned for their pets. So they took the dogs to their shelter, leaving the contact numbers. The poor things at last would have the good care they deserved. That's all for now. Hope you enjoyed the video. And one more thing, don't forget that animals near us very often make us happy and make us laugh. And sometimes they do amazing things. Watch the video about the funniest cats and dogs on Animal Like People channel and have a good time. And please, try to help the rescuers. Support them with your likes, subscriptions, and, if possible, donations. Hard times happen not only in people's lives, but in the lives of animals too. But they are too dependent on us, humans, because they can't deal without our help. In this video, as usual, I'll show you 15 heroic cases of animal rescues that impressed me most. Homeless dogs, living in the street, often have to find a shelter in piles of trash. This dog suffered greatly from mange and was not sure to survive in that place for long. She was so weak that she didn't resist when the people from Hope for Paws put the leash on her. Giving the poor thing some food, the rescuers managed to attract her to the car to take her to the hospital. In spite of her condition, she was trustful. Even when doctors were examining the creature, she didn't move and let them do what they needed to. Miley, as the rescuers called the dog, suffered from mange, parasites, bacterial infection, and a lot of time for recovering was required. In the center, she met Frankie, a little guy that had been rescued from the drain pipe and was really scared. Miley decided to take good care of him, and they became happy friends. This time, Simon from Wildlife Aid had to deal with a rather tricky situation. The squirrel had been terrorizing an old lady in her own house. The woman even had to make barricades of old paper to hide from the little aggressor. The uninvited guest was hiding in the living room, and it wasn't an easy thing. When Simon caught the squirrel, it was very angry.
I'm a very cross squirrel. Yeah, stop squeaking. Okay, I'm going to walk in. Have you got your back door open?
The rescuer tried to release the creature in the garden, but it surprisingly came back into the house. Luckily, the squirrel changed its mind and disappeared into the garden. Sea creatures often get into trouble connected with fishing nets. This time, the sea lion was tangled and was helplessly approaching the people's boat. The animal was so distressed that it let the people help it. It had severe wounds because of the ropes stuck in its body.
It's in there like, yeah, I just don't want it to, oh my gosh. Sorry, big girl.
The doctors made an antibiotic injection, untangled the ropes, and released the creature, hoping it would be okay. Here is one more dog living in the cold street. People from Howl of a Dog found it roaming about a railway station. The rescuers were afraid that the dog could run away anytime and even could get under the coming train, so they were very careful. The rescuers followed the dog to redirect it in a safe direction. Unexpectedly, the dog stopped running away and approached the people. They found out that the poor thing was limping and something was wrong with his eyes. The rescuers took him to the clinic to give special medical help. The doctors scanned the pup and found the microchip. With the help of it, they contacted the owner, but he didn't want the dog back. It turned out the animal had run 10 miles away from home. The doctors examined his eye and confirmed he was blind. The pup recovered rather quickly and got ready to be adopted. Hope he was. A woman found this little guy in the grass. Luckily, she was about to mow the lawn and noticed the poor thing. It obviously had fallen down from the tree. The man decided to put the creature on it to let its parents find it. He made an artificial nest and screwed it to the tree. He used the ladder to go up and put the baby bird in the nest.
Pretty good.
15 minutes later, the mom and dad found their little one and started feeding it. The family was reunited. On January 11th, 2019, in the evening, one of the houseboats partially sank. The owners were escaping quickly, leaving all their belongings, including their pets. The cat managed to get out, but the chihuahua got stuck. The next day, 2 scuba divers came to save the owner's belongings and hopefully the dog. Being cold and shivering, the dog was found alive. The loving owners sighed with relief. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina took a lot of human lives, but animals also suffered greatly. Animal Rescue Society sent its team from Utah to Louisiana to save helpless pets left by their owners. First, they visited an office building where several cats and dogs were blocked. They saved all of them. Then the team came to the residential area. In one of the houses, they saw a dog barking out the window. They found several other dogs that were lucky to survive. The rescuers brought them all to the huge